Another day, another your balance is low bank account alert.
Truth. I highly recommend the Twitter account Hot Country Dudes, if that's your thing.
Maybe it is. Why are cobwebs so good at being cobwebs? It's like they're mating.
Oh, don't get me started. How do I tell my cat he has thunder thighs?
Very gently. Have such a good day. Hello world, didn't see you there. Welcome to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just that.
Hello, people, patrons, friends, foes.
Hello, all of our foes. We see you. We know you're there.
We want to be kind and say hello, even to our frenemies. Wait, what's the difference between frenemies and foes? Are they
I think
kind of
frenemy is
synonymous?
like you're sort of passing on the illusion that you're friends, but you secretly hate each other. And foes is just you hate each other.
And what about
If I
nemesis?
have to make a distinction, I think that's
Nemesis.
it. Nemesis. I wonder if anyone hate listens to the show.
I'm sure they do.
Like, there's got to be at least one or two people who are like, Heather and Sarah aren't my favorite, but
No.
I can't help myself.
Yeah, well, come forward, you.
Yeah, we
Whoever
want to
you
know.
are.
Listen, hate listening is still listening, so you count.
It is.
You matter. You matter.
Yes, y'all matter. And this is the very show where we unpack the absurdity of life for your entertainment. Hopefully. I mean, we desperately want to amuse you, entertain you, maybe at the very least make you crack a smile.
Yeah, whatever. If you're listening,
Write us at hiahavesuchagooddday.com.
that's right. Yes, send us emails, please. Feedback, always important.
Before we dive in, Sarah, I wanted to remind everybody that this is our first palindrome of the hundreds.
Yeah,
This is our
we're in the triple
101
digits.
Episode. We are. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about palindrome trivia, Sarah, to see how much you know about palindromes. Do you know that
okay.
if you are one who palindromes, you are called a palindromist?
I didn't. That makes sense, though.
Did you know that it was introduced by Henry Peacham in 1638? It's that old.
So Henry was like, oh, there's this thing that's kind of cool. Front and back to front. Let's call that a word. Okay.
Yeah, well, something about like crab-like, like the Greek word means something like crab-like. And apparently do you know what the longest palindrome is?
I do not.
I did my research.
Apparently so.
It's also onomatopoeic, which is one of my other favorite things. Tat-a-rat-tat-tat, which was coined apparently by James Joyce and Ulysses for a knock at the door.
Oh, okay.
Kind of
Cool.
interesting.
That's the longest known palindrome that's a single word, I guess.
Tat-a-rat-tat, tat-a-rat-tat.
Huh.
I also really like that one palindrome, the sentence palindrome that's Satan oscillate my metallic sonatas. Have you heard that one? None of them make sense. That's the thing.
For as much as I love palindromes, I know precious little, apparently. I just know it when I see it.
That's all I got.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this is episode 101, aka 101, aka a palindrome. Woo woo. So it's rare that we would have a palindrome within a couple of weeks because our last palindrome show was episode 99. Now, of course, now that we're in triple digits at 101, we're not going to have another one for 10 weeks when it's episode 111. So that'll
be
is
a good
neither
one.
here nor there, but it's something that I think is significant on some level. I haven't figured out what yet.
But having palindrome goals is a good thing. I mean, then we got 222, 333. It's weird. Lately, I have this like really big clock that I got. It's like this kind of, big numbers, cute little clock. And every time I look at it, it's like 333 and then 444 and 111. And I'm like, what? This is really freaking me out. It's been happening a lot lately. And maybe it's just because I'm noticing it when it's at like the triple digits and I'm just not really thinking it's significant when I see a different time. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that feeling where you're like, am I like a wizard somehow? And I just know to look at it. But you're probably glancing at it all day.
Exactly.
It's just when it's 11:11, you're like, oh my God, again.
People
It's
try to
11:11.
find such significance in things like that. It's like so fun, I guess. But yeah, there's probably no significance at all whatsoever.
I definitely find not so much time of day, but there will be repetitive things that I do where I'm like, I just can't believe it happened that way again. You know, like maybe
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe there's like a garbage can across my room and I'm like doing like a little basketball thing and I'm like, it missed in the exact same way it has the last 40 times. Like what is it about me that I just like can't change my angle? I don't
That's
know.
really funny. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know if you're superstitious, Sarah. I think we've probably covered this topic in numerous occasions on the show, but you know, if we had this painter here and he's got ladders everywhere, you know, and I'm like, I really will. Would you walk under a ladder? I mean, are you superstitious
Oh, not at
in
all.
that way?
No.
You would
I
just
mean, if
walk
a
under the
ladder
ladder.
looked rickety, I'd be like, "Oh, just don't be unsafe." But no,
Yeah.
I don't do any of that salt over the shoulder, none of that stuff.
I don't do that either, but I do think I have like a little bit of a superstitious side to myself, but that's for another show, another day.
Yeah. Heather will unpack her superstitions, of which there are many, perhaps in episode 121. Well, I had a sort of a non-eventful week, not gonna
Really?
lie, but that's a good
Okay.
thing, right?
That's okay.
Non-eventful also means that nothing burned down, so we're good.
We all have them.
We all have them, and yeah, I'm really leaning into just, I don't know. I mean, it's nesting. There's really no other way to put it. You know, I'm not having a baby or anything, but I'm just sort of, I'm kind of just, I'm posting up and doing my thing, and I've been very outdoorsy, which I am in general. But you know, the weather is so nice around here. It's not super hot yet, but it's warm. You know, I mean, it's low 80s in during the day, and so a morning walk with my doggy is just the ticket, especially over the weekend because you know during the week I still exercise and get outside, but you know I have much more limited time. Like I have an hour. If I don't do it right now, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But on the weekends, you know, I'm still waking up early because I'm an early riser. But it's like, oh, okay, all of the things I want to do today, I can just put them in whatever order I want, right? Because there's not
Yeah.
this this work thing that dictates everything else. But I was taking a longer walk over the weekend, and it's so funny. I've always wondered who are the people who have issues with you throwing a doggy bag of poop that's like wrapped up. You know, it's
Yeah.
not like loose. You didn't throw it at their face or their, put it on their front porch or whatever, but they have issues with you put it in their garbage can. And the reason I think this is because, well, first of all, I have a dog and dogs poop, and I have a large dog, and I know his patterns really well. You know, I know exactly like if we walk at this time of day based on when he had breakfast and how much water he's had, like I know exactly what's going to happen. You know, so you come prepared and you do your thing. That said, you can't totally plan for like, okay, you've got now this bag that, yeah, you wrap it up and it's like, it's not the thing I want to hold all that much, but you know, I'm not going to leave it on the ground. That's disgusting. You know, you figure out, okay, where's the first place that I can, drop it off in a garbage can. And sometimes that's like back at my house. It depends on where I am. Okay. So, and then where I walk around my neighborhood, there are a lot of houses. I mean, it's country and everything, but it's not like, oh, there's going to be like miles and miles before I see a garbage can. No, it's like, depending on what road I'm on, so, it's garbage day is Monday on that road, so there are a bunch of garbage cans, recycling bins and compost bins and the whole thing, and they're kind of out on the street, whatever. So it's never like a huge deal for me to like work this out. That said, there are some people who, for whatever reason, they want to make sure that other people don't put garbage in their garbage cans. And like, yeah, I mean, if somebody was like dumping a bunch of stuff, that would be an issue.
Sure.
Because I mean, finite amount of space. And so there'll be like certain garbage cans, and I know this neighborhood so well that like I know where they are, where they've put a sign on the garbage can saying like, please don't throw dog poop in here, or no plastic bags,
Yeah.
kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, okay, I get, like, if you go through the trouble of doing that, like I'm not gonna like fight you about this,
No.
like I will go to the next garbage can, kind of thing. But I sometimes will, I'll pass one and it's weird. It's like, I'll kind of like almost like smell it out. Like, is this a vibe of like a person who would be weird about me putting
Totally.
this very small bag? I mean, listen, big dog is still like, I mean, we're not talking like pounds and pounds of poop. It's like a little thing, you put in a garbage can. It's like, it's either going to be on top of a bunch of other garbage or at the bottom or somewhere in between. Not
Like, what does it matter?
Not that big a deal. Yeah, it's garbage. But, is there ever going to be a situation where like there's like an issue? And I've always wondered that. And for that reason, because I'm not looking to like upset anybody. Like I really do carefully choose the garbage cans that I use. Like
You're so
there's
thoughtful,
one,
Sarah.
yeah, I know. There's one where the house is like on a hill, and where you park and where the garbage cans are like way above where the house is. Like you have to go down a bunch of stairs, and I'm always like, I mean, it would be real, like it would have to be timed where they're like leaving the house because they don't see me otherwise, you know?
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not like upsetting them where they're like, who is the person who keeps using our garbage can? I just don't know, you know? Okay, so all of this is setting up what happened over the weekend. So I'm with Otis and we're jogging and I'm listening to a podcast, you know, so I got my earbuds in and, you know, we're at a stride and I'm feeling good. And it's this area where I'm a good 3 miles from home. Like I'm halfway in a loop where I'm as far away from home as I could be. And I've been holding this bag for a little bit. And it's not the end of the world to jog with it, but I would much prefer to not jog with something in my hand. And, you know, there's a garbage can and, you know, I throw it in the garbage can and the garbage is like way out on the, you know, by the mailboxes, you know, so I'm like, oh yeah, they must have like Monday morning garbage, you know, because it's like, I don't always see the garbage cans out on the street. And, you know, poop goes in there, whatever. And I just, you know, go on my merry way. And I don't hear anything, but Otis is like turning around weirdly kind of behind us. And he kind of does that sometimes when he sees a squirrel or I don't know, hears a noise or whatever. And so I'm kind of pulling him like, you know, cause I got, you know, I'm jogging. Like, I'm like, come on, you know, just stay with me. And he just won't stop. And so I kind of look behind me and there's this woman like running after us and like waving her arms. And I can see that she's saying something, but I didn't hear her because my earbuds are like somewhat noise canceling. And so I like pull one out of my ear and I'm like, what? Are you okay? Like, you know, I was like startled. And she goes, no, you can't put dog poop in my garbage, you know? And I was like, cause she's been talking to me a little bit longer than she realizes. I haven't heard anything. So I don't know what she's doing. And so I was like, what? Like, just like so confused. I would really appreciate it if you don't put your dog's poop in my garbage. And it was like one of those moments where you're like, okay, the moment that I was wondering about has now happened. This is it. I have finally figured it out. Like it's her and it's her garbage can and this is the moment. But it was the way that she was like coming at me where I immediately like, you know, that moment where it's like time stops and you're like, as a human, you're like, I now have a choice as to how I will react to this situation. And so because, I don't know, I felt like being a dick, I go,
it happens.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Was that not a garbage can? And I don't know why I did it because I knew that it was. Sure. And it was just one of those things. And she kind of like, and I catch her off guard and she goes, no, it is. And I go, oh, okay. Wait, what? And she goes, no, but it's my garbage can. I don't want your dog's poop in my garbage can. And I was like, oh, I was just trying to, you know, clean up poop. And she goes, yeah, well, do you not have a garbage can? And I said, well, not nearby. I'm about 3 miles from home. And you can tell that she's sort of like, I was trying to like yell at this woman and now I have to like answer some questions and make a little sense of this. And like, I was sort of flustering her and she just goes, well, that was sort of the end of it. And I kind of smiled slyly and I was like, I got it. Won't happen again. Bye. You know, and I put my earbud back in and that was the end of it. And like, I wanted to look back one more time because I know she'd just sort of be standing out there dejected, but I didn't. And that was the end of it. And I was like, you know, Sarah, you didn't have to pretend you didn't know what she was talking about because you knew, but it was just like,
why do we do that?
I still don't know what, if it was loose poop or if it was like, I don't know, I put it next to the garbage can where like they'd have to be like, hey, why'd you do that? Why couldn't you just put it in the garbage can?
That's probably worse.
Or I like had like a huge bag of my kitchen garbage that like took up the whole, you know, bin or something. It's like, there are so many situations where I'd be like, yeah, I was totally in the wrong. This is just one of those things where somebody wanted to be possessive.
Yeah.
It was not about what I did. I didn't do anything that had altered her life in any way. but she felt like I had infringed on something.
Oh, of course,
And she
yeah.
wanted me to know about it. And then because I was being a little bit difficult and super passive aggressive, she just sort of like, she kind of fell apart. So that's really my story. I don't, there's no lesson to be learned here.
No,
I guess
Sarah,
I just
I think
don't
there
use
is
that
a
garbage
lesson.
again.
Yeah, just don't run on that path again
Oh,
because you're going to be so embarrassed, like running by her if she sees you.
no, I
And
won't. No, in fact, I'm going to do it after the show today because it's one of my favorite loops. I'm not going to listen, okay, I can just totally not use that garbage can ever again. There's like another one across the street, not a big deal. But it was just one of those things where I'm like, okay, this moment, I knew it would happen and it did.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any more clarity on why this upset some people. But again, I'm also a dog person, and so I'm like just really used to this. And maybe
Yeah.
it's just like a super gross out thing that other people have, where it's like,
don't take
no,
my
you're-
garbage can.
yeah, I'm like, it's fucking garbage. It's like, did not realize you were gonna eat brunch out of this garbage can later today.
Well, Sarah, I think you need to work on your vibe, the vibe you get from these garbage cans.
Yeah. I'm gonna start building a map, like friendly garbage, not friendly garbage. Well, okay, and so here's on the flip side of all of this. And by the way, if you're listening and you're like, oh, I have thoughts on like whether or not it's cool for me to
Yeah.
do this, please do let us know. Hi at havesuchagoodday.com, because I've just like more intel is better for me. But on the flip side, sometimes I'll be, I don't know, it's like on the side of the road doing the poop scoop, right? And someone, if they're like, I don't know, in their driveway or like doing gardening or whatever, they'll say to me, hey, if you want to use our garbage can, it's right here. Like people do that all the time where I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, thanks, that's nice.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like, oh, universally, it's known to be this like extremely rude thing that you do. It's just like, I don't know. It's a case by case.
Yeah, I bet you could find a lot of threads about this on Nextdoor app.
Oh, I'm
Maybe you
sure.
should start a
Yeah.
thread.
God. Yeah, or not.
Well, it's actually
I don't
funny
know.
because I had a similar situation with a guy who had a huge Winnebago with like a huge boat attached to it. And he was in a small parking lot for like a little market. And it was yesterday very busy at the market. There was no parking except for like one spot, like a legit spot that had like white lines. It was like a regular parking spot, but he was parked like perpendicular, like to the side of that one. And so I pull in and he's just like, no, you can't park there because then I can't get out. And I'm just like, dude, well then don't park there. Cause like this is a legit parking spot,
Yeah.
How can this random guy tell me where not to park? I was just like, and I had that same moment where I'm like, I'm kind of feeling over caffeinated right now and I kind of want to bite his head off, but like, what do I say? So I roll my window down and I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't park there because it's like there was no parking and I was in a real spot. There's plenty of street parking with your long ass vehicle. It's like
Yeah. There's a funny thing where it's like, I don't know.
territorial or something.
It's very territorial. Yeah, that's a great word for it. I used possessive about the garbage can earlier. Territorial is a better word, but yeah, there's just, I don't know. And I feel
It's like, get off my lawn.
very much so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's like the guy's like, yo, you're like totally cramping my style. And you're like, but you're changing the rules.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. That's
like,
exactly
what do you
what it
expect?
is.
Like, you want the
Yeah.
rest of the world to like read your mind.
Like I have
Okay.
a smaller car. Like you're the one that's kind of infringing on everybody else with your massive 50-foot vehicle thing. And it's like, what? I have to like work around you? Anyway, we digress. So yeah, I really relate to that, Sarah. And I'm sure a lot of you out there do too. So please, we desperately want to hear from you. Hi, have such a good day.com.
We really do. So Heather, how's your week been?
Actually, it's funny. It was officially moving week, but it was a great week. It was honestly probably one of the best weeks I've had in a while. And I've had some good weeks, but I don't know. It was so sunny and beautiful and warm. The ocean was so blue. All the fishing boats are out and they're so cute out there, because we can see the ocean from all the different windows in the house and on the property. And it looks different all the time from whatever angle, from whatever window. And it's just so cute to see life happening. So
Yeah.
just 1 week in the big house was pretty exceptional, a really different, new, fun experience. So I'm going to give you a few of the highlights of my moving week. So cats are annoying and very talkative. I've never heard them so talkative. They're just like cruising around, meowing, meowing, and I think something's wrong. I'm like, what's wrong? But I think they're just happy. I found an ancient samurai sword in the very back of a closet. I'm still finding interesting things, which I'm like, wish I could ask my dad about that, but it looks like it's really from one of his travels. Very old, Kill Bill looking, super cool. I'm really happy about getting rid of some keys. We're getting rid of our offices that are in a totally different building in a different town. And it's like we're kind of merging everything into one place, which feels really good. We've got a dishwasher now and a garbage disposal, and a nice washer and dryer and all the so much
good
joy.
life.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I'm trying not to brag here, but God, driving into a garage. I mean, I remember having a really tiny garage in LA when I lived in West Hollywood. And I remember every day was a challenge to like not scrape the side of my car. I mean, it was one of those really narrow garages. But this is quite a spacious garage. Yeah, and so just waking up on the second floor, seeing the ocean. We've been eating dinner in our sunroom. We have a very interesting wooden toilet seat that I actually really like.
I've had a wooden toilet seat before. Yeah,
I like it.
It's
and
neat.
It's warmer than those porcelain ones. I mean, man, those porcelain ones can
Absolutely.
be chilly.
Yeah. Don't even need to heat it.
No,
Yeah.
you don't. We got a couple fireplaces and a wood burning stove that I haven't used yet. Really nice, and I'm so grateful, and I'm never going to take it for granted, and all the things.
Oh, that's so great. I'm so happy to hear it. Moving is, I know you mentioned it on, the last couple of episodes, but, you weren't moving far, but it's still like starting over.
Yeah.
And there's some stress always involved in that. But luckily you didn't, you were really just, moving across the property type thing.
Yeah,
But it's nice to, that, yeah, it's like a fun, now you're just in like fun project mode.
Exactly.
Rather than
Oh, there's
like,
so many,
this
though.
thing I have to do. You can kind
Exactly.
of go at your own pace.
And also I have this housekeeper that has been working for our family for so long. She's wonderful. I consider her part of the family. And she's one of those people who takes such pride in what she does. And I didn't even expect this. And I actually forgot she was coming on Thursday because I figured maybe she wouldn't because we were moving, but there was always plenty to clean and do. And she moved everything out of our old refrigerator, reorganized it in our new refrigerator, took things out that didn't need to be refrigerated, like certain vinegars and whatever. I mean, her meticulousness it helped us a lot because it was just something that like I would not have cleaned out the refrigerator for weeks. I would have been like, oh God, I got to go back over there and get the soy sauce or, but like she did it all. And I was so impressed. So I'm really grateful for that.
Oh, having a housekeeper, wouldn't that be nice?
I know. It's a big
wouldn't
house.
that
I
be
mean,
nice? Yeah.
it's not like it's all that fancy. It's not like they're like a live-in housekeeper or anything, but she does a good job.
Yeah.
Like a butler. And
God. Oh God. Yeah. Real Housewives territory.
It's
yeah.
not like that.
No, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you're liking it, and I'm sure there'll be lots more adventures to be had, in the backs of closets and all that good stuff.
wooden toilet seats.
Wooden toilet seats. Yeah. I had wooden toilet seats are not something I think about all that often, but when you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when I lived in an old Victorian house, part of an old Victorian house in San Francisco years ago. It was really old. Like it was like, so it was a strange apartment, but in such a cool way. And yeah, the toilet was just ancient. I mean, everything about it was weird. Like, kind of had a chain that you like pull on one side, and like the chamber where the water is was like kind of up high. It was just, everything was
Very
just
San
old
Francisco.
about it. Very San Francisco. And yeah, it had a wooden cover lid and a wooden seat. And I think the rest of it was porcelain, but I remember liking it. I was like, this is just an interesting detail.
I love it. Yeah, no, it is. It's very traditional. And I'm really realizing, because I've always considered myself a modern woman, but I like some traditional stuff. I really like, I don't know if they'd call it like shaker or something, but I do, because this house is kind of colonial. If I were to, it's got like the wainscoting with like textured wallpaper on the lower level. And there's like a lot of little like elements that remind me of like New Hampshire or like, the East Coast kind of thing. And I wouldn't ever pick it out as something that I like, but now that I'm in it, I'm like, oh, this is actually really comfy. So learning a lot, Sarah, learning a lot.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, I don't really have, I mean, I'm not moving into a nice big house anytime soon, but I did get a new rug. It's actually, there's not much of a story. It was delivered just over a week ago, so it's, it's new and cool. I'm already used to it, but it's a big, like a big main living room rug. My old living room rug was just a mess. I mean, it wasn't even worth like paying somebody to come like do like a good steam clean.
Yeah.
It was sort of falling apart underneath, and there were just areas where I'm like, no, nothing is gonna like bring that little area back to white. Like it was just and I had it for years, super high traffic areas in various apartments. It was just time. But I bought this rug from a company called Ruggable. If anyone's familiar, you know that their whole kind of like claim to fame is that it's washable. The rugs go up to 9 by 12, which is a very large rug. And I believe that the company says if you're going that big, then you'd have to like go to a laundromat that has like industrial size washers, because it's just like you're not going to be able to put that in like a washer at home. But anything up to 8 by 10, which is the size that I got, is technically washable. And I don't know, you can go to like their website. I don't like want to make this into a commercial, whatever, to like find out how it's like different than other rugs. But the way that it is designed is kind of like the rug itself. There's like a pad, and then there's sort of a top area. And the part that is, colorful that you see and like you walk on is quite thin. And so I am really looking forward to the first time I wash it. I don't need to wash it. I mean, hopefully I won't
Not
need to
that
wash it for
often.
like a while. Yeah, you kind of vacuum, and that's usually what you do. But I also, I'm in and out. There's, I walk on dirt roads all the time, daily. I've got a dog, so it's like it's going to get dirty. That's just the way it goes. Like even though I don't like wear my shoes in the house or anything, it's just gonna happen. So yeah, I will report back. But even something as simple as like, oh, you're like, oh, a rug. There's like some new colors, but it really does transform a room.
Does it tie the room
Cool.
together?
I mean, the room is fine. It's just it's totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a different pattern and different colors, and
Oh, it does. It changes. It changes the
the
vibe for
room
sure.
hasn't changed all that much, but it's as if I painted a wall something like very bright and loud.
It's really
it just
funny.
happens to be the bottom wall.
Actually, when you told me about Ruggable and you told me about your rug, I hadn't really heard of them, I don't think. And I went down this YouTube rabbit hole of all these ladies like reviewing Ruggable rugs. Like it was like insane.
Well, I think when anything is like a large enough purchase, like even if it's like like rugs could be like thousands of dollars, or you can like get a cheap rug and, save some money, whatever. And I think it is such a commitment style wise and a total investment that I think that's a good example of something where, you get a lot of like, okay, let me tell you the good and the bad of this thing
Pros
that I
and
bought.
cons,
It's like the wire cutter, right? It's like, I mean, everyone loves a deep dive on, we tried 40 different blenders and this is the one that's best. And here's why, but here are some cons. It's like, I love that stuff.
Oh, me too.
So anyway,
Love it.
what I also love, Heather, this is a kind of, I was
tell.
thinking about this. So I visited a friend of mine, childhood friend. So she lives in the area where I am now back. After many years of being away, and she's just one of my oldest friends. And even though she's not that far away from me, and one of the reasons I was excited to move kind of close to where I grew up is because I'm like, there are childhood friends that I definitely keep in touch with, but I didn't see all that often. Even when I lived in San Francisco, which is really just an hour away driving, because I don't know, we're all busy and life gets in the way, but I was like, oh, it'll be great to see her. And because of COVID, and she's got a kid and she's a single mom, and I'm always doing my own thing. It's like, I really hadn't seen her in person in about a year. And, we just kind of kept being like, how's Saturday? It's not good for me. You know how it goes.
Sure.
And so we ended up hanging out over the weekend, and, she doesn't look like super different than she did about a year ago, but I was struck by how good her skin looked. And I mean, when you get to be like mid 40s, it's like some people look older than other people. We all have different skin.
Sure.
It's like, how much time have you spent in the sun? What's your ethnicity? Do you wear sunscreen? Elasticity,
Your
like all of the
genes.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Genes, like everybody's different. And I have always been, just because I do not have world's worst skin by a long shot, but I also don't have world's best skin. I've always had very sensitive skin that's like, if I change up a product or there's the wrong like fragrance that's associated with something, it's just like breakout city. And then, I have to like, there's like a whole week that goes by where I'm trying to regulate again. It's like, I've always been that way ever since puberty. And so I always, I kind of notice, well, I do notice, skin and teeth. It's like, I will notice that about every human on the planet if I get close enough to them. But it's like, whether someone has like skin where I'm like, problem skin. Yeah, I hear ya. Or someone has like this like beautiful luminescent skin where I'm like, I just can't imagine like waking up and being like, yeah, this is my skin. I never break out. I look like this. Where you're just like, wow, can you just imagine having skin that pretty? Men and women, some people
Yeah.
just have beautiful non-pored skin. And my friend is one of those people, and she just doesn't have, she also has spent a lot of time in the sun. And I know this just because, we used to like sun worship together, and I'm kind of like SPF 50 every day. And she's like, who cares? And she just has this beautiful, non-wrinkled, like non-droopy, just like, she's got great skin. And I couldn't help myself. I was just like, and I know that she doesn't do anything because it's, do anything meaning, nips and tucks and, little fillers and that sort of stuff, because we would talk about it.
Sure.
Because I know her that well. She's just lucky.
Wow.
And, I'm like, God, like no crow's feet when you like laugh really loud kind of
Wow,
thing. Like,
incredible.
which is something, yeah, it's something where I'm like, I don't know if this is a thing that other people are like focused on. I also know you really well. So it's like, I know your face and I'm just like, God, you got good skin, but it's just something kind of, I don't know, like jealousy is not the word. I was just like, I'm so impressed.
Like
God,
envy,
you got
maybe.
you got great skin. Yeah. And the older that I get, the more, I care. I mean, especially because part of my job is to do like on camera work. And when you do on camera work, I mean, sure, you could just like go makeup free, and some people get away with that. Like, I always have to wear a little bit of makeup or I feel like I look kind of sick. Like, it's like the camera will, you sort of need more definition, when you're picking up something that's camera based rather than someone standing right in front of you. At least I've always felt that way for myself, where you kind of have to add a little shadow here and there, like nothing crazy, but just, if I were just to go full on naked face, I think someone would be like, you look tired or like, what's up with you? Where I'm like, I didn't wear mascara. You like me with mascara kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, because of that, it's like, oh, like if I have a zit or something, it's like, I'm super used to, I mean, I've been doing this for so many years. Like, okay, well, you got to do cover up and then you got to like blend it a little bit so it doesn't look like super obvious. But then at a certain angle, maybe you're still kind of like, red, or like there's a little bump, or, all of that stuff is just, it's just been a long factor of life for me. And I don't see it ending anytime soon, because every time I have like a couple weeks, like for example, right now I'm in a good spell where I'm like, I have no breakouts. Like maybe finally it's over, the long
Just
suffering, acne prone life,
Yeah.
maybe finally it's over. Right. Cause they always say like, once you like get out of your teenage years, like your hormones regulate and like it's like a thing. And it's like, no, not for me. It's never been bad, but it never went away. It just sort of became a thing where it's like, I really got to watch my skin, like if I don't wash my face at night, I mean, I always do, but like if I weren't to wash my face for a couple nights in a row, like I would have a week plus of like a mess. Because I just can't, I got to take care of it. And some people can get away with just being like, whatever, I'm just perfect.
Oh yeah,
skin wise.
I'm always blown away by the whole like sun worshiping thing, because I know some people who have like the perfect even tan, yeah, and their skin looks so good, and I'm just like, they've got to be damaged down the road at some point, right? I mean, I want to have a tan so badly, but it just takes a lot of effort for me because I have like kind of like undertone of olive in my skin, but I'm like really pale right now because of just like the winter and, not being in
Yeah.
LA anymore. But like, I don't know. I feel like the sun is also really damaging. So I'm kind of like, why bother at this point? Then you have to go to the skin doctor and have them check your moles and all this stuff. And so
Yeah. Yeah, I am naturally extremely fair. We have like pretty
we do.
similar coloring. Excuse me. But I can also get really tan. But yeah, it's like it
Me too.
takes work. Like you have to work at it. And when I was younger, I loved it.
Me
I wanted
too.
to be as tan as possible.
Yeah.
And now that is like the last thing I want. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
super like I wear like a big old floppy hat. I got the SPF. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not effing around anymore. I also have some skin cancer in my family, so it's like,
Yeah.
I'm
You don't
I'm
want
an
that.
Irish person. Like what, like there's no reason for me to be like, look how tan I am. Like it's just dumb.
I miss it
You
though. Like I miss
I
that
don't.
feeling of having like a little color on my skin.
I feel I've got friends who, and like again, it's like friends who can get tan and are outside a lot, and so they are tan, but it's not like that's not their underlying color. It's sun.
No.
And I look at them and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do
like it
too.
doesn't
Yeah.
look good to me anymore. It looks like you're just
Yeah.
like it's like
Wrinkle
you might as
City.
well like smoke a pack of cigarettes. Like I'm like,
Totally.
it just seems so like reckless.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. It used to be something that I equated with like, oh, you look healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, I don't feel that way anymore. But it did take some time to get to that point. And I am constantly feeling like, well, I can't reverse what I did, when I like gave myself all these new freckles because I was like cooking in the sun with baby oil for like 20 years. Well, maybe not 20 years, but like, when I was younger and I was like, oh, as tan as legs as possible and then wear white shorts and you look so tan. Like that was like an actual goal that I had at one time. And I know that
Totally.
people still do that, but
Yeah.
it's just it feels very far away. Anyway, good skin is something that I appreciate. I love all you people with good skin. I guess I am a little envious, but
You
but
hate people with bad skin?
no, not at all. I actually, if people have like real problem skin,
Yeah,
of course,
of
I'm just
course.
like that sucks. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't really know how bad it can get, but I know it's like horrible for self-esteem and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I think about skin a lot, Heather. I never wanted to be a dermatologist because there's something. No, I don't know. The medical profession in
interesting
general just
organ.
did not appeal to me. But I love the fact that there is so much knowledge about yes, our largest organ,
It
right?
is a fascinating organ for sure. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that can grow. My dad used to say that he had a garden right, when you get older, you get like gardens growing on your arms, and especially when you don't wear SPF, which he never did. Uh, you know, Good thing to wear a hat and SPF. But I don't really wear short shorts anymore, so it's probably a good thing because I'd probably blind you with my pale legs. But anyway, so yeah, I've been chatting with our Discord crew. Got a awesome little motley crew in there. I was specifically talking to Long Welsh and Mike Mills about, we're talking a lot about, and Tina. Tina had some good input on some of my, home renovations, my colored walls and all of that. So we've been having fun talking about like weird light fixtures and, just very adult stuff. Anyway, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about the current paint that I'm working on. I am going to be painting my kitchen this week and it's going to be white. Yes, I am not doing a color. Most of my rooms have some kind of shade of blue or gray or taupe or whatever it is, but I'm going to do white. And I thought, this has got to be easy. Like white. I mean, come on. Like how many variations of white can you have? It is the hardest one
I
to
know
pick.
there are a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like there's undertones. Whites are extremely influenced by light and other surrounding colors, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's not really a color, it's the absence of color. So it's, I think I've narrowed it down to like one or two. I got to head over to the paint store today, and it's kind of stressful because I'm like, well, what if I get like what if I end up with a white that's too cool and it makes it feel chilly in there, or it's too warm, or blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm going to get some advice from the local hardware store, which has been very helpful this past month, and I'll let you know what I choose. But during this whole process of picking paints and researching paints, and you're on these interior designer websites. Some are funny and others are a lot of cursive writing, all these women who are like interior designers around the world, I don't know, and they all have their opinions. So I'm like reading a lot of blogs, and everybody's got their opinions about whatever color you're looking for, and there's a lot to it. Just a lot of research, a lot more than I thought. But I wanted to throw out what I think are the most ridiculous paint names that I've come across in my mad search for the perfect hue.
Oh my God, you and your paint. Okay.
I know. And so the thing is these names, so it's like interesting because the descriptions are really funny too, but I'm not going to get into that. But the color names are supposed to evoke a feeling, right? They're supposed to just like, it's more about evoking something. What do you think of when you hear this name? I mean, you have to resonate with it, right? Because it's going to be on your walls, so you want to kind of relate to it. These are kind of silly, and I wanted to see how you felt about these, Sarah. So I'm just going to kind of rattle off a few, and I want to get your first reaction. Ready?
Okay. Yes.
Dead salmon.
Ew. smells terrible. Dead, like dead, yeah, like
dead
that's
salmon.
Maybe the worst thing you could name a paint color.
What about mayonnaise? That's a real name, mayonnaise.
Oh, that didn't bother me.
No? Okay.
I'm like,
Oh, you like
that would
mayonnaise.
be like a nice soft white.
Yeah.
I like mayonnaise.
What about rude pepper?
Does not sound like anything white. Rude
No.
pepper.
These are all just different colors. This isn't all just white.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought they were all supposed to be. I'm like, dead salmon and it's
No.
white?
That's
Yuck.
more of a like a pinkish kind of mauve.
Well, sure. I mean, salmon, I get it, but dead.
I
Like,
know.
you're like, ugh, that sounds moldy. Rude pepper. Yeah, it sounds bright green. I don't know.
or maybe red. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. It's like fine.
Elephant's breath.
Oh, I don't know.
It's so
Sounds
interesting to try to wrap
gray.
your head around these. Yeah, kind of a gray white of some kind. Nacho cheese. See, these are ones that I wouldn't really pick because they just sound so. Oh, here's an interesting one. Climate change. Like, what does that look like?
It sounds orange.
Yeah,
sounds
orangey.
yeah, like burning things.
Yeah,
the heat
yeah.
rising. Climate change. It's like let's get political with our paint colors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about grandma's sweater?
See, that one doesn't. There's no color that comes to mind. I know what that means pattern wise.
Yeah.
When someone were to say that, it's sort of almost like, ugly sweater Christmas party type
Sure.
thing. But yeah, it could be like anything.
What about dragon's blood?
Dragon's blood?
Yeah.
Isn't dragon's blood supposed to be green rather than red?
Or
Am I
blue
making that
or
up?
something?
Or
I don't
blue?
know. Let's see what color
I
it
don't
is.
know.
Dragon's blood.
If you're like, hey, here's a can of paint. You can't tell what color it is, but it's called dragon's blood. I'd be like, could not tell you what's in there.
Oh, it is. It's actually kind of like a burnt orange kind of thing. Yeah, it looks like, so I guess it's not like sort of science fiction dragon. It's more like legit blood color.
Yeah, who made the color and what sort of authority do they have about fantasy animals?
Well, this is the thing. This is what's interesting. So you've got like the main, like sort of mainstream paint creators like Benjamin Moore and Sherman Williams. But then you've got all of these sort of like boutique-y paint places. It's kind of fascinating. And it's like I was reading about the founders of this one place, and it's like Farrow and Ball, and it's like very like high end, and they have a lot of weird names. I think they're the ones that have dead salmon. And yeah, it's so interesting. It's like, what makes you want to, you're like, working on figuring out what you want to do for your career, and you go into making paint. I think it's fascinating. It's like, I would love to, I don't know, hear them on a podcast. But I thought this was kind of funny. What about Saturday on Sunday? That's a little
Saturday
confusing.
on Sunday?
Yeah.
What
does that evoke for you?
Nothing. I'm like, that's sort of dumb. Like, what is that? I don't get it. Like, Saturday on Sunday is like, I guess supposed to be like cool relaxation.
I
mean,
guess.
I don't know. I'm like, which Saturday?
It's
Sometimes
too
I'm like super
confusing
busy.
for me. It's like it doesn't evoke a color. It has nothing to do with, I don't know.
Well, it's sort of like it's like it's not unlike lipstick or
Yeah.
fingernail polish colors. You know, like certain colors where like right now I have pink nails and like it was called like candy pink. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, got it. But there are other times where it's like, hint of danger where you're like, what?
I know. Well,
Just a
this is actually
lipstick color.
apparently a dark blue gray with a hint of green. So I don't know. I mean, this is all very interesting. I like the paint name Bagel, and then Salty Tear. I thought was kind of interesting. Dried Edamame sounds like maybe kind of a nice sagey
Yeah.
color. Anyway, those I thought were the most kind of interesting and good conversation starters. There you have it.
Indeed. I like it. I know that you are deep into the paint right now,
yeah.
which is also a basketball term, but very different one. And that's cool.
I'm an aspiring interior designer like everybody else on the planet.
Well, yeah, I am too. There are definitely moments where, you're mentioning like YouTube videos of rugs kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like there are times where, yeah, I'll kind of look up as if having been in a trance, and I'm like, what have I been doing for the last hour? Like I'm going down a rabbit hole of something that isn't even going to end in an action on my part. I'm just like doing weird research.
Exactly.
And that they're all about all sorts of things. I tend to be like pretty impulsive about the things I actually do buy. Like the rug that I got, I really like the rug. I'm very happy with the purchase, but I didn't think about it for very long. I was
Yeah.
like, I like that pattern. I'm getting it. I need a new rug. But then I will research like aprons, of which I do not wear in the kitchen, by the way. I just like ruin things,
Oh,
like
I
whatever
do
I'm wearing.
now.
I'm like,
I
we
started
should have put an
recently.
apron on. I actually own one apron, but it's just like in a corner somewhere.
I'm
I
kind of
never wear
religious
it.
about it now. Just 'cause, like the oil coming off and then like oil stains never come out.
Oh no, you're right. I
good
just
practice.
don't wear aprons, but yet I like want to know like what the coolest apron
Yeah.
is. I don't know. It's just like it's like finding yet one
I know
other
what
way
you
to
mean.
waste time.
I spend a lot of time doing that. In fact, it's kind of drives me bananas, but I enjoy it so much. It's like this weird love-hate thing. But I have a couple cute aprons. One's actually from Japan a million years ago that I went, but I still love it. It's so cute.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I really am. No, I imagine that every time you put it on, you're like, I still like it.
I think you would love this
still
apron.
like it.
You would
Yeah.
really love it. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you, and you're going to agree.
Yeah, well, if you are out there and you're like, I really like my apron too, or I don't wear aprons and here's why, we'd love to hear from you. hi@havesuchagoodday.com. By the way, Heather mentioned saying hello to our patrons when we started the show. And if you're not a patron, maybe you would consider becoming a patron. That's the way to directly support us, get some extra goodies, join our Discord server if you want to chat between shows with our cool Discord fam bam. And patreon.com/have such a good day is where to find out more about that. Speaking of patrons, we always like to shout out new folks who have joined the flock. Evilog is our newest patron. Evilog, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Thank you so much for becoming a patron, and yeah, tell a friend.
Are you really
and-
evil? I want to know.
An evil log.
In fact.
Maybe you have something to do with the log lady from Twin Peaks. I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah. But yeah, it's all good times. By the way, if you join our Discord server, anybody at the $5 per month and up level gets in there automatically, and we love having you, and we hope for more patrons. Of course, you can always enjoy the show for free. You might hear an ad here and there. Patrons don't. Everything's ad free, so that's a nice little perk. And you have choices, and we're just so glad to have you.
Yeah, and if you want to join our Discord, just hit us up and we'll send you a code to get in. It's kind of a super secret little crew, so you got to hit us up for that. And also, we got a couple notes from, I love this 2120 South Michigan Avenue. He's one of our patrons. He's been around for a while. He's really cool.
Do we know it's a he?
Yeah, we do actually, because
Okay.
way back when we were chatting about some record label or like something to do with music. This was like quite a while ago. And I remember we kind of got to know him a little bit. So he commented on our 100th episode. He said, Well, as the man once sang, you can leave your hat on. And this is in relation to a photograph of Sarah and I partying because we had 100 episodes and we had hats on. And he said, great pick of my favorite hosts. So thank you for that sweet comment.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was our 100th episode last week. God, it feels like longer than 1 week ago.
Oh, it does. It's been a long week.
But yeah, as the man once sang, you can leave your hat on. That must be a reference to something I don't get.
Yeah, I wonder what that is. I wonder if it's from it's either an old song or like a rap song. But I think you would know it if it was a rap song.
You can leave your hat on. Well, it's like, it's not over till the fat lady sings.
Is it
no,
Joe Cocker?
That's something different.
I think it's Joe Cocker.
Okay. I can leave my hat
Randy
on.
Newman? I don't know. Let us
In
know.
the shower? I don't know. Like, there's clearly more context. This is probably a very easy Google search. But,
Yes.
you know, here we are doing the show blind.
Ask
so,
Google.
yes. Thank you, 2120 South Michigan Avenue. Always good to know that you're enjoying the show. So thanks for that. Well, Heather, as much as I've enjoyed the show, I think we're getting to the end.
We are.
Of our program.
But we're gonna.
We'll be back doing it next week, so no one be too upset about it. It's all gonna be great.
Don't
Episode
cry. We'll be back in
102
a few days.
Yeah, we will. A few, like 7.
Yeah, about 7 approximately.
Yeah,
almost exactly.
Although, who knows? Maybe you're catching up on old episodes. I feel like they age pretty well. I mean, sometimes
so
we talk
too.
about pretty topical news, but I think for the most part, if you were like, I like these gals, they aren't so bad after all. Maybe they aren't my foes. You could go back a few weeks and maybe even binge listen. Maybe you're taking a really long walk and you need more than an hour at a time. All
And
good.
hopefully you're not hate listening.
Yeah. But if you are, like, I'm actually really curious. Tell me what you hate most
Yeah.
about me.
Oh, totally.
Like I'm kind of like, I want to know, like, what's my worst quality?
Is it the way
Tell
I prattle on and make no sense and
Right. Yeah. The strange nervous tick that I don't realize I have that makes you insane.
my
Tell me about
extremely
it.
loud laugh that sometimes I have to like turn the volume way down on?
Oh, good times.
My
Good
Marge Simpson chuckle.
times. You really don't sound like Marge Simpson to me, but you know, clearly someone told you that once. So, you know, maybe it's
No,
in there
no one
somewhere.
did actually. I remind myself like inside internally.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, well, Sarah, it has been wonderful to see you as usual.
Yeah,
and,
you too.
I will be talking to you offline, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Heather.
I will remain Heather in the meantime.
I will remain Sarah. Not going to change my name before episode 102, but thanks everybody for listening, and we hope you all have such a good day, good week, good year, good life, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.